Next up we have the Scottish Fiesta Championship, and the man on pole position behind me in qualifying stuck it on pole, Wayne McCauley, and he really is starting to set himself out as the man to beat in this championship, current champion as well. But second on the grid is a debut for Josh Orr, not George Orr obviously. Josh, first time out in the STs, and he's qualified second in the wet. A great performance, and he could go out and win this one. I'm going to hand it to Richard, and he'll take us through the first race of the day.
So Wayne McCauley on pole, Josh Orr alongside then Kevin White and George Runcie. Russell Morgan is next. XR2 pole to Jim Deans from Stephen Gray and Barry Farquharson. Stephen Ward ninth from Alec Townley, then Gavin Butterworth, Graham Cuthbert, Gordon Haston, Robert Kerr and David Taylor. David Taylor only getting one lap in after problems in qualifying, but the officials have let him race. He's there in the black and orange machine at the back of the field. Good to see him back. Lights are on the gantry. Off they go. Good start by McCauley and Orr from the front row of the grid. Tricky conditions out there. Taylor side by side with Gordon Haston, in car with David. He's asked us to thank MacArthur Vinyl, CCH Balloting, straightforward web design, and I think maybe just struggling a little bit with the power, and Gordon Haston got the better of him there, but after one lap of practice here, difficult conditions, probably would have wanted more. But out front, Wayne McCauley leads this one from Josh Orr in second place. Third is Kevin White, then it's George Runcie, trio of blue STs, and then the red car of Russell Morgan, and leading the XR2s at the moment is Stephen Gray. So Stephen Gray has got the better of Jim Deans. Now looking at the championship points for the XR2s, Deans and Gray matched each other at round number 1. They're both tied on 45 points. Barry Farquharson is third in the championship, and then Gavin Butterworth and Alec Townley in P5 in the XR2s. And good to see, as Joe said, Josh Orr moving up from the XR2s. He was last year's XR2 newcomers champion, and could well be, once he gets to grips with this car, the man to take the battle to Wayne McCauley. So we'll see how that pans out. We don't have Andrew Christie this weekend in the STs. Also, we're missing Peter Cruikshank. He had a brace of second places, of course, in our April meeting. Barry Farquharson down the inside of Stephen Ward, and you can see ahead of these two a great battle going on between Stephen Gray and Jim Deans at the head of the XR2 standings at the moment, and those two very evenly matched. They were in qualifying, with Deans just nabbing pole from Stephen Gray, and at the moment Gray holds the initiative in class. And difficulty for the XR2s. They get into the performance of the lead XR2s obviously can't be understated, because they're up mixing it with some of the STs, and it's a wide line here for Jim Deans, the Stonehaven racer, who goes out on the grass. I wouldn't say he was forced on the grass, but he's on that outside line. He's had a very good recovery and run out of the corner, and he's challenging Stephen Gray for the lead of the XR2s. They're still side by side. There might even have been some paint training going on there, but down into Duffus. There's life in the XRs yet. Here we go then, down the hill. And Stephen Gray holds on to it in the 24. Jim Deans still in second. Cracking battle between these two. And you can see Deans exploring the outside lines in the wet. Got the green and black car of Stephen Ward, the 55, trying to get in the mix as well. And then a little bit of a gap to Barry Farquharson, who's looking to build on his XR2 newcomers championship lead, and he's third in the overall championship, leads the newcomers by 10 points from Alec Townley. So all good stuff, and the STs go through still side by side for the lead in the XR2s. Now are we going to see a change for the lead? Jim Deans has gone through, so it's Deans now leading, Stephen Gray down to second. They both, I think, have made it past the inside line of Stephen Ward, and they continue their fight. And this might give Barry Farquharson a little bit of a run to catch them up. As you can see, Ward's had a very good run there and gets back in front of them, and Stephen Gray now has to look at the rear end of the pole position sitting car, originally pole position sitting car of Jim Deans. Let's see Deans' late turn in there. into Scotsman Corner and holds on to that lead. And this is not only for the race lead, but also to pop up, of course, in the lead of the championship, as they're both tied on points. So Jim Dean's now having to deal with Stephen Ward's ST if he can. And as you can see, Barry Farquharson has joined in, and it's a three-way scrap for the lead in the XR2s. Still Wayne McCauley is leading this one and looking to make it a third win of the season. The double champion, treble champion really, twice ST champion, and was XR2 champion the year before that. Looks like Deans is starting to get away just a little bit now. Fourth position in class is Gavin Butterworth, I think that is, in car number 22, going through shot. And here's the view from Stephen Gray, a little bit further behind the class leader at the moment. So Jim Dean's looking to annex this, gets it all sideways, and that will scrub speed off the car for sure, and may well allow Stephen Gray back into the race. As you can see, Stephen Ward seems to be picking up a bit of pace now in 55. They go past the newcomer Robert Kerr in the orange XR2. Robert setting a 1:27 in qualifying, so just starting to get the hang of his XR2. Russell Morgan coming under a bit of pressure now from Stephen Ward. George Runcie is immediately ahead of them in the 67 car, and they go past the yellow backmarking car of Gordon Haston, which I think might be having a few problems. Off the circuit as well goes George Runcie, so George is going to lose out a couple of positions, and we're back with the XR2 race leader Jim Deans, who is going to claim the overall lead for the championship for himself if he stays in front. Stephen Gray second, looking a little bit more comfortable now from Barry Farquharson. Well, having said that Gray was getting away, Farquharson has responded here, and the 18 car is starting to close down. So the 4-far man, one of the newcomers in the championship, had a podium as they go past David Taylor's car, a podium in the XR2s in round number 1, and was fourth in race number 2 in April. And Stephen Ward looking at the outside line now of Russell Morgan, switches to the inside line up the hill. The leading XR2s go through as well. This isn't over by any stretch of the imagination for Jim Deans. Stephen Gray now ahead, but on the last lap is the number 1, the defending champion, passes Robert Kerr and well on his way. McCauley is, as usual, a fair way ahead. Josh Orr's had a good debut race though in the STs. Josh incidentally running as a guest driver, so he's not scoring championship points. So second in class is going to go to Kevin White, or second overall. The second place points will go to Kevin White. Steve Ward having come through for third position in class in this one. But Wayne McCauley will make it 3 wins from 3 starts. A very, very good defence of his championship title. Last lap board goes out to the last of the unlapped runners, and now the checker goes out to the race winner, Wayne McCauley. 3 out of 3 for him. It's going to be Josh Orr second across the line, running as a guest driver, and then Stephen Ward, Kevin White in third position, as across the line goes Robert Kerr, David Taylor as well. There is Kevin White, who takes the second place points and third on the road here at Knockhill for round 3 of the championship. So it was McCauley from Josh Orr, Kevin White in third, then Stephen Ward, Russell Morgan in 5th place. Jim Deans wins the XR2s ahead of Stephen Gray and Barry Farquharson, who's top newcomer. George Runcie and Gavin Butterworth next, ahead of Alec Townley, Graham Cuthbert, Dave Taylor, Robert Kerr and Gordon Haston in 15th.
Wayne McCauley, Mr. ST now. It's just an absolute domination these days. We've lost George Orr from the championship. Kevin White having a little off-form moment, and you're just there consistently banging in pole positions and wins.
There's not really much you can say to that, really, is there? You know, but I mean, the cars. We've done the STs for a few years now, and we know where it can leave the car and the settings up for dry or wet. So I mean,
You mentioned when you jumped out of the car that you went out, it's wet, obviously it's greasy, but you went out on a full dry setting, which is something I used to do and a lot of other people did in minis. It works quite well.
it works extremely
Am I
well.
just giving something away for you there?
No, I don't mind if anyone knows that, but it's all just drive it the way it goes, really, and it works out fine for me, so it's really good.
You still enjoying it?
Oh, I'm loving it.
Tell your face.
Cheers.
Well, I'm joking, well done.
No.
Josh, fantastic debut in the STs, well done, coming from the XR2s, jumping straight in, front row of the grid, second place, amazing.
Can't complain at that. Testing in the dry yesterday, so today was a bit of a challenge, first time in the wet, so just went off a base setting what was suggested to me. Went a bit harder because I like the back end a bit sloppier, so a wee bit too bad in qualifying, so we changed a bit there. Again, still a bit too much, so I think we're going to do a couple of changes for next time. Can't complain, second place, only a guest driver I like, so it's a good experience for me. So no, it's good fun, a lot different to the XR2s.
Yeah, I've driven both. I've driven the XR2, I've driven the ST as well, only ever in the dry, but I found them massively different. I find actually the ST a wee bit more friendly.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got the ABS, so you can get off with a lot with that. You can brake about half the distance of an XR2, so it's great. Power steering, all you're missing is a radio, so it's good.
Well done, great result.
Thanks very much, Joe.
XR2 winner Jim Deans, great result. At the first round, was it 2 wins at the first round?
No, the first in the first race and second in the second race, yeah.
But championship wise, this is surely going to put you ahead.
For the time being, yeah. Yeah, so we'll see. Well, next race, see what the result of the next race is. We could be equal if Steve won the next race. If I win it, then I'm ahead.
It's shaping up for a competitive championship. No one's going to run away with this between you two.
No, it's going to be close, that's for sure. Aye, very close. You saw us crossing the finish line there. It was just side by side, basically, yeah. So I couldn't have been much in it. Yep.
Good job. Keep it up this afternoon.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Race number 2 for the Scottish Fiesta Championship, about to head out on track. Full dry conditions this time rather than that in-betweeny we saw in race number 1. Wayne McCauley, who's going to bet against him? He's been absolutely dominant lately, last year's champion, leading the championship this year and just making it look easy. Josh Orr, I keep wanting to say George Orr, obviously George's not here, but Josh Orr taking over second place here. It was a great result in the first race in some tricky conditions, so expect to see him go well in the dry when things are a little bit easier to control. I expect a lot from him. And we have a huge selection of XR2s as well to fight it out for the XR2 part of the championship. I'll hand it to Richard for the final time today. Here come the Fiestas.
Thanks, Joe. Round 4 of the championship about to get underway, and it's Wayne McCauley, the race 1 winner, with Josh Orr alongside then Kevin White and Stephen Ward. Russell Morgan with Jim Deans, followed by Stephen Gray, Barry Farquharson, George Runcie and Gavin Butterworth 10th. Then Alec Townley and Graham Cuthbert. David Taylor with Robbie Kerr on row 7 and Gordon Haston completing our grid. So as you'd expect, the 2 litre STs largely at the front of the field, with Wayne McCauley looking to make it another race win. Alongside him is Josh Orr. We'll see whether the extra experience that Josh has will stand him in good stead for this race. This, though, his first dry race in the STs. Everybody is away well, and particularly Wayne McCauley, who leads. Kevin White in car number 7 has a look down the inside. Then we've got Stephen Ward in 55, followed by the red 37 of Russell Morgan. Jim Deans has got away. Barry Farquharson up to second. So Barry Farquharson, the black XR2, is into second place in class, ahead of Stephen Gray. Then we've got Gavin Butterworth. George Runcie is next in the ST, the 67 ST, and he's about to have a look at the inside of Butterworth there. And then following him, the grey and green car of Graham Cuthbert, dicing with Alec Townley, the red 57 XR2. So George Runcie did manage to get past Gavin Butterworth. Race leaders heading towards the end of lap number 1, with Wayne McCauley in his customary P1 position, going up and over the brow. Josh Orr still in second place. The car going through the hairpin there is this man, David Taylor, actually dicing alongside Gordon Haston, as he was in the start of race number 1. So David chasing Gordon at the moment down towards Duffus Dip. Next time the XR2s and Fiestas are on track is the 3rd event of the season, rounds 5 and 6, an away day at Alton Park. And when we see them again at Knockhill, It'll be the halfway stage of the season once they've completed those 2 races. Where is the year going already? So some really good racing going on here. Stephen Gray now back ahead of Barry Farquharson. So George Runcie in the ST, the dark blue car, the lighter blue XR2, and in fact Gavin Butterworth now starting to put pressure on Barry Farquharson as the race leaders come up the hill. It's still Wayne McCauley, and Wayne not having, I don't think, as much of an advantage here in the wet. He drove away from the rest of them in the wet, but the dry seems to be, we always say the wet's a leveller, but the dry condition seems to be levelling out positions for the top 3. Here's the view from the pit wall. Through in red goes Alec Townley, then Graham Cuthbert, and we've got a good dice on for the leader. Wayne McCauley was under pressure, goes in the gravel. Are we going to see Josh Orr, the guest driver, come through and maybe take a win? He's piling the pressure on McCauley at the moment. Stephen White half a car's length or so back, and Josh Orr is getting urgent here and looking racy. Having a look at the race leader, so it's a 3-way scrap in the STs. We have more of this throughout the year, please. This is looking rather good. I don't think, Wayne McCauley probably will welcome the competition. But here comes Kevin White, a very wide and fast line into the hairpin, and up the inside goes Josh Orr. Josh Orr's gone through into the lead, and now it's about what Wayne McCauley can do, and indeed what Kevin White can do as they come up the hill. They're 3 wide for the lead here in the Scottish Fiesta Championship, and Wayne McCauley had a good run. Is he going to be able to sweep round the outside as they come down Duffus? He's in the green car. He's got the blues though, and the blues are on the inside, and it's Kevin White that goes through. Josh Orr is going to have to line into Scotsman and claim 2nd place, and Wayne McCauley, the multi-champion, is down in 3rd place. So it's all switched around. It's White from Orr, and then Wayne McCauley in 3rd, and Wayne McCauley has work to do. Kevin White has taken the lead and starting to pull away. Now, of course, with Josh Orr being a guest driver, the allowance of guest drivers at some quarters might provoke a little bit of debate about whether they interfere with the racing or not. I'm sure Wayne McCauley won't mind having a guest driver in front of him because he wants to have a race with somebody. And although the guest driver's not taking away points, he is at this moment taking away track position and potentially in the way of Wayne McCauley having a go at the point scoring champion, not championship leader, race leader Kevin White. White, 3rd in the championship coming into this meeting, will have passed Peter Cruikshank, and Josh Orr goes down the inside across the grass and inevitably straight on into the gravel and maybe retirement. Well, at the end of the day, the guest driver has not interfered with the race here, and the 2 race leaders are as close as they can be on track. So it should be a straight fight now between Kevin White and Wayne McCauley. Defending champion chases Kevin White, so we've definitely got a race on our hands. Sadly only a 2-way race maybe rather than a 3, but Josh Orr will have learned a great deal from that. I hope that he's going to come back and have another race, maybe as a registered driver in the championship. Up the hill they go, past the car of Robert Kerr. Robert will be pleased to have had a finish in his first race, 14th position, and as you can see the safety car being brought out is presumably to look after our guest driver Josh Orr, who is in the car still and hoping to get towed away from the gravel. Safety car goes back in, and it's now down to Kevin White to pace the start. Wayne McCauley right behind him, a little bit of a gap back to 3rd place at the moment. It's the back marking XR2 and more problems. 57 is Alec Townley, 22 is Gavin Butterworth. So we've already lost Josh Orr from the race. We're going to lose any more. You can see here, very difficult position to get going from because it's uphill. And back meanwhile to the overall race leaders and the leaders of the ST class. Kevin White has had 3 podiums so far, 3 third positions so far this season, and Wayne McCauley is piling the pressure on him, but Wayne knows that 2nd position will probably be okay. He's had 3 wins so far. He'll want the win, but he won't be overly disappointed with 2nd place points if that's the way it pans out. And at the moment, fastest lap, but believe it or not, fastest lap of the race went to Josh Orr. He's definitely got to come back posting fastest laps. Fastest lap in race 1 went to Wayne McCauley. So onto the last lap. It's been a great fight for these two, and it looks like Kevin White is going to take the win, but Wayne McCauley runs wide there, might give him some more momentum heading up towards the chicane, and maybe a look down the inside into Clark. They're very close indeed, and it's going to be a game of nerves here for White, but he's been in this position before. Goes defensive. McCauley takes the wider sweep through Clark. Could now be about the run down into the hairpin for the last time. Let's see whether Wayne McCauley gets that momentum up and running. Stephen Ward has come through into third position in the STs. Now here comes McCauley on the outside line. Will he go for the cutback on the inside up the hill and then rely on momentum out of the corner? I don't think he can, but it might be the outside line, and Kevin White is going to take the win. White wins round 4. Wayne McCauley takes the battle to him but can't quite do it. McCauley is in second position. Well, it was a cracking race, and you just saw there Alec Townley crossing the line, the XR2. Here is Stephen Ward, who gets a fine podium for third place. George Runcie, Russell Morgan, Jim Deans makes it a double in the XR2s and will take the championship lead away from Stephen Gray. So it was White, McCauley, Ward, Runcie, Morgan, Deans winning XR2s from Gray, Graham Cuthbert this time third from Gordon Haston, and Alec Townley in 10th place. 11th once again goes to Robbie Kerr, and commiserations to Messrs Butterworth, Taylor, Farquharson and Josh Orr.
Kevin, before that race started, I pointed at Wayne on pole and said no one will ever stop him. Unbeatable, but you proved me wrong, as most people do.
I knew my car was quick from testing the dry on Saturday, so I knew we had the pace in the dry, so I knew we could be up there with them. And I seen him battling at the front, and I thought, keeping up with him, I thought, I will see what we can do. And 3 abreast up the straight, that was unbelievable. And then just had the inside line, and that was it from there, really.
Job done. And dry conditions as well for the first time this year.
To be fair, I've not had much experience in the wet, so obviously the wet races I'm a wee bit slower, but in the dry, we've got the pace in the dry, it was good.
Well done.
Thank you.
Wayne, before the race started, I said no one will beat Wayne, no point in trying, he's the man, he's going to win this, but it all went wrong.
Yeah, it did actually. There was we got an alright start as well, but they just caught up and they ended up 3 abreast into Duffus, which was quite interesting, to be honest. I can't believe we made it round, but then I suppose Josh ended himself up in the wall. But I mean, that's really good for Josh's first meeting here as well. He's on.
He did really well, yeah.
In the dry, and fair play to Kevin as well. He held the pace.
Well done anyway. It's a great result.
Yeah, very good result. I'm happy with that. Thanks.
Jim, that doesn't hurt the championship, does it?
No, it doesn't, no, but I've got to go and see the Clark the course after this, so
Fingers crossed.
maybe second place. Yeah.
But either way, it's still today you've pulled away.
Yes, it was good. I enjoyed it much better. Well, better on the dry. Change for this morning. Was a bit disappointed when the safety car came out because I was pulling a lead and it let us all bunched us all up again. So, yeah, but we made it. So
I've got to say as well, as far as Fiestas go, your car is just the finest specimen of a Fiesta I've ever seen.
Yes, it's a good example. I'm pleased with it. Yeah, very pleased.
Well done.
Okay, thanks very much.
Well, that brings today's action to a close, but what close racing we've seen all day long, changeable weather conditions thrown in as well. Make sure you tune in next time for more action.